Listen to this podcast now
on the Red Apple Podcast Network. The Leadership Thread with Dr. Peggy Polonis.
I'm Dr. Peggy Polonis. Join me on each episode where I unravel the story that shaped leaders, tracing the thread that led them where they are today. Because leadership isn't born in adulthood. And thank you once again for joining us on the Leadership Thread, education, ethics, and sustainability.
Download all of Red Apple Media's podcasts right now through your favorite podcast platform.
Listen, all you New Yorkers. Excuse me, taxi.
Okay, man, we're looking around.
This is the 77 WABC minicast.
Good afternoon, world. Oh, are you in luck? You now have me. Me is Madam Adams, Cindy Adams. From the New York Post, I've been there since whoever founded it in 18-something. And I now am here every week. And I'm also in and on the New York Post. You can catch me Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. And I've been on it since God knows when. And now I am here in my friend John Katsimatidis' radio station, which is the number one in the United States of America. It is WABC AM. And you're stuck with me every Sunday at 1 o'clock. Is it 1 o'clock? It's 2 o'clock. It's 2 o'clock. I listen at 1 o'clock. I'm better at 1 o'clock than 2 o'clock. And I am going to tell you an assortment of things. I'm allowed to do anything I want. So I'm going to tell you, to start with, about Liza Minnelli. Her first autobiography, first ever, is coming out. It's called Kids, Wait Till You Hear This. It's scheduled for March 10. That's in about 5 minutes from now. The book was done by Liza herself. The memoir is an intimate look at her life, from her childhood as the daughter of Judy Garland and Vincent Minnelli, to her own stardom. It includes her Oscar-winning role in Cabaret, as well as her friendships with types like Frank Sinatra, Princess Diana, multiple miscarriages, 4 weddings, and a lifelong substance abuse problem. She's encouraged by friends in California, where she now lives after living in New York for generations. Liza now says the time has come to tell the tales never shared before. Others have written biographies about her, such as Liza, Born a Star, and Under the Rainbow, The Real Liza Minnelli. But nobody ever knew the real Liza Minnelli. It was only a couple of us who were always her friends and who loved her and would protect her. This is her only personal unload all. It's her personal life, supposedly, about conflicts with her mother, Judy Garland. It's a lifelong dependency on all sorts of stuff she shouldn't be taking. And it's also, she includes sex with an assortment of people, including, you ready? Mikhail Baryshnikov. Okay. Listen, I love Liza. I always did. I always will. Her New York apartment, which she was in for years and years, had a wall of Andy Warhol paintings, many of her. She was told to stop smoking and to please diet. So she comes to my kitchen, where she ended up smoking cigarettes endlessly, and helped herself to cake. The night before opening in a major New York City venue, she sat on my terrace singing loudly. Oh, obviously, it's an open terrace to the street. God knows who heard her. They probably heard her in Vermont. I was a bridesmaid at her last wedding. It was in 2002. The groom, you should excuse the expression, he wore more makeup than she did. Their togetherness lasted less time than the ceremony itself. Elizabeth Taylor was her maid of honor, and the service, the service had to be delayed. Oh, yeah, I lost my place. The service had to be delayed a few hours. Why? Because Elizabeth Taylor had brought the wrong shoes. Liza was dressed by Halston in the 70s. She was idolized by Lady Gaga. She grew up at the Plaza. She phoned me once from Torino, Italy, before her opening night there. She brought her 2 dogs to my home. They christened my living room floor. She got a crate load of red carnations from opera singer Luciano Pavarotti after one concert. She wore 3 sets of eyelashes to the Tonys. She told me, I haven't laid off since kindergarten. And I watched her as she fell asleep on the lap of Carol Channing one New Year's Eve. Do I know Liza Minnelli? Yes. And do I love her? Yes, I do. So the book is coming out in the next 10 minutes. And I'm telling you about it because People magazine even has a little piece on it this week. We will now go from Liza Minnelli to New York restaurants, not for any reason, but because I want to tell you about the local restaurants in New York City. New York City itself is going into the lavatory. Its restaurants are also struggling. So I had a conversation with Dave Goodside. He owns the Upper East Side's longtime favorite restaurant, Beach Cafe. He explained the fundamentals to me. Once, he said, wait a minute. He explained the fundamentals to me. Once he told me rents here are the highest ever per square foot. They're now so expensive, we cannot afford to keep our restaurants open. He said most commercial rents rise 3% per year and usually include the tenant absorbing a portion of the city's annual real estate taxes, which, thanks to our mayor, whom I have now called Zero Crap Dammy, they are going to start rising these taxes. He is not ever going to rise, but the taxes will. Also escalating, according to the restaurant know-it-alls, will be the labor costs. The minimum wage rose roughly, recently, $1 per hour. If the dishwasher gets a $1 raise, the team gets more because they feel they're more valuable than he is. Labor pool is becoming more competitive. Food delivery is also becoming more competitive. Couriers who now deliver are making more than my dishwasher, he says. Grubhub's couriers can make $30 to $40 an hour on their bicycles. They work outside. They take breaks as they wish. They start late and they leave early. This is in New York City, the actual capital of the United States of America. They work outside. They take breaks, as I said, as they wish. They start late. They leave early. They're on bicycles. He said, my dishwasher's on his feet for an entire shift in a steamy kitchen with no AC or windows, and he is stressed constantly by a chef constantly telling him to move faster, hustle, get your ass in a sling, get the dish out. Food costs rise, and delivery services routinely take 30% of a transaction subtotal. If you add 35% food costs, and then you take another 30% of a transaction's subtotal, and then you take a little off for liquor, and you add 35% for food, and you leave the restaurant with 35 cents collected on every $1 spent. Not to be confused with their profit. That 35% pays for all expenses listed above. This is now something I, in my lame brain, came up with. This is something after I have interviewed some of our town's restaurateurs. Customers now chill in easy breezy PJs. They don't even get dressed. 40 years ago, Ilio's or Primola, two high-class restaurants, would not send asparagus risotto to your door on a bicycle. A delivery, in general, to combat this, is private food delivery apps. A kid on a bike. No fees, smaller staff, manageable schedule, reduced hours, thinner menu, work as small amount of time as they like. Two guys were talking. One said, I got married because I got tired of laundromats, restaurants, and wearing socks with holes. The other guy said, funny, I got divorced for the same reason. So I am just telling you, what's happening is going to be very difficult for New York City. Everything is expensive, and that's even before we started with crap dammy. I'm just telling you. Okay, what am I going to tell you now? Oh, I know what I'm going to tell you now. I am now going to tell you about the Oscars. They're coming up in about 20 minutes. They will be on March 15 at 7 p.m. ABC's 98th Oscar thing. This year, we are in such luck. It will be burbled by Conan O'Brien. Oh, be still my heart. It's going to start just a couple of weeks away. The awards, when did they begin? Oh, I'm so glad you asked. I know all of these things. The awards originally began in 1929. Underwhelmed, Time magazine gave it one paragraph afterward. Same page, only larger paragraph, was a thing about John D. Rockefeller III, who was reported to have just been voted the most pious by his Princeton class. That's so nice, especially since now they're being voted as hating Jews. What should show us how wonderful they are in terms of religion. Also, on the same page was info on a new Ford factory being built in England. This is right next to the tiny little report on the Actors Awards. What could be better for California? It's almost as great as giving a 2-year-old girl a GI wardrobe. And that's where it's going to be, the Academy Award. Where did it start originally? I'm glad you asked. And even if you didn't ask, I happen to know. It started at the Blossom Room of the Hollywood Roosevelt Hotel. The 270 humans who paid to attend, they spent big. It cost them $5 to have dinner there. Another fin, and you could have owned the whole damn hotel. The dress, black tie. No close-ups of boobs and behinds. The whole ceremony of the very first Academy Awards, which had 13 awards, took exactly 15 minutes. The reasoning? To cement Hollywood, to canonize the industry, to hype the new industry, movie making. It happens I know all this. Not that I was there at the time. Don't anybody get snotty. It's just that I happen to know this. The oddity was that the winners' names had already been announced months earlier. So nobody understood why they schlepped to this event in the first place. The prizes got awarded in 5 minutes. Swallowing your gin and tonic while you smiled at losers took longer. Douglas Fairbanks, if you remember that name, was the event's president and the first host. Janet Gaynor won for something. Real-time, big-time, movie-time biggers who were at the first Oscars. It was some of the biggest names you're ever going to know. And who the hell cares now? And who is going to watch it? Here's a few memorable quotes from Oscar-winning actors. While I'm on to the Oscars. Morgan Freeman. Morgan Freeman told me this. He says, an overzealous guy once followed me into the men's room during the Oscars. He wanted desperately for my autograph. He wouldn't leave me alone. We were in the men's room, so I finally asked him, listen, pal, you want to hold this while I pee? Now, Hilary Swank, she says the first role I ever auditioned for was to play an animal. His name was Bagheera, the Black Panther in the Jungle Book. The director then put his arm around me and said, Hilary, I've seen your work. You and I need to talk. And Natalie Wortman said, Prince Charles once asked me if I'd been in Star Wars Phantom Menace. I didn't mind because it could have been an upsetting experience. But listen, I was only 12 years old at the time. So, wait, what else do I have to tell you? This is enough with the actors, and there's much more I could tell you. Anyway, by 1940, everybody, including waiters, was tired of the thing and needed to wake up the audience. So in came the great Hope, Bob Hope. He holds the record for hosting the most Oscars, 19 times, and he emceed the event in 1953 for its first televised event ever, and in 1966 for the first broadcast in color. Listen, there's a lot more I could tell you, but I am only allowed to speak for 20 minutes right now before I have to allow for a station break. This is how they make a few bucks, and this is how I make a cup of coffee. And I will be right back in 1 minute. Don't go away.
Rural Americans deserve access to the best our nation has to offer, especially when it comes to health care. Across every state and every community, America's rural hospitals are the first line of defense, protecting our families, neighbors, and loved ones. No matter where you live, hospital care doesn't clock out. They're there 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. Each year, America's over 5,000 hospitals care for millions of patients, providing 24/7 emergency care, delivering babies, cancer treatments, and other life-saving care that patients rely on. Behind every one of those patients are doctors, nurses, and caregivers working tirelessly to keep people healthy and safe. Hospitals are our community's lifelines. They employ our neighbors and keep our families' health. But now, some in Congress are threatening access to care. Tell Congress, protect patient care to keep America strong. Don't cut rural health care.